Now, we all know that being a boss content creator is a two-part effort. The first part is creating relatable standout material, and the second part is the ability to share it with the world. Now, in this next session, we're giving you a roadmap on how to commercialize your IP, understand what licensing and distribution agents are really looking for, and how to connect with these gatekeepers. KingstOOn is very pleased to have Tatiana Kober, the president of a leading production distribution company in Canada, Bijuba Entertainment. Bijuba has a scoop on the ins and outs of distribution, rights management, co-productions, financing third-party acquisitions, and licensing and merchandising in Canada, the US, and internationally. The live chat feature is where you can ask Tatiana all of your questions. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Tatiana.
Hello, and thank you, Debbie. And thank you, KingstOOn 21, for inviting me to this festival. I am really excited to be here. I really enjoy attending these kinds of events and meeting new producers and talent and telling people about how the business works. And it's also exciting to see how Jamaica is in a stage of growth. So that's very exciting. And it's an exciting time in the industry too. The industry is looking for new stories. Diversity, representation are key themes. And it's a good time for other cultures and other countries to come in and tell your stories, authentic stories from authentic tellers. So it's great. I'm also excited to be part of KingstOOn because my husband's father is from your area. He was born in Jamaica in Constant Springs. And his family ended up moving to Trinidad when he was 10, but his family is from the Cayman Islands and had moved there after a hurricane. So he was born in Jamaica. Now, I just want to tell you a little bit more about myself. Bijuba is a Canadian company, and it's mine. I'm based in the US, and our head of sales is in France. So we are an international company. In my 20s, I worked at TVO, a public broadcaster in Canada, and jumped between the kids department and the science department. I was in production, and I had no aspirations of getting into sales. I was going to create shows, and sales just didn't process in my radar at all. And I remember the one day that I was sitting in the science department, and one of my colleagues, he was really excited because that day he was going to find out if a show that he put in for he pitched his project in was going to be greenlit, and it wasn't. And I remember he was devastated, and I thought the idea was great. I was like, well, boy, I bet you I could put that money together. And so without my knowing it, that was the day the germ came to be to go into distribution and do what I do. So I stayed in production for a number of years, and then I decided to see the world and left Canada and ended up in Japan and worked at NHK in the high vision department for co-productions. So that's when I started getting into the actual business side of television. And I moved to London and got a job at BBC Worldwide in sales and co-production, and started specializing in the children's area, which I loved. It was at the time of Teletubbies. And then I went on to work with Endemol and Egmont Imagination, which was a division of the children's publisher, Egmont, in Europe, the largest children's publisher at the time. And they had their animation division. And when it was time for me to leave the UK, I realized I loved working with producers, getting their projects going, selling them around the world, getting people excited about the shows. So I set up Bijuba. And that was 18 years ago. So what we do is we work with producers like yourselves to get our shows, your shows around the world, to get them greenlit and to build a strategy. We have a catalog of about 700 half hours, which continues to grow. And we've helped greenlight about 20 shows since we started the company. And we deal with the big guys, the big broadcasters, and the smaller ones. We're truly a global company. But this presentation isn't about me, so let's move on. So you're here because you've got this great idea for a series or a show or a property, and you've developed it and you want to take it to the market. So what are the steps? How do you choose? Who do you choose? How do you go about it? How do you find the companies? These are all daunting questions, especially when you're dealing with your baby, the project that you've created and you've invested some time in and probably a lot of your money. So it has to go to the right people. Well, first, congratulations. Congratulations that you've got your idea and you're moving forward, because that's the biggest step, is having that big idea. And when you're looking to have your show distributed, there are some things that you have to do before you come to us. And you will know this, but it's just good to hear it again. That's of course the development of the property. You'll have to have your Bible. You'll have to have artwork, some stories, a storyline, the general concept, the hook of the series, maybe some animation, and hopefully some money attached. And what we'll want to know, and we want to know that you know this too, is what makes your show different? What else is out there? Who's your target audience? Who do you see as your target broadcaster? We get so many shows pitched to us where the people haven't thought about it. They think it's for everybody, and it's not, because each broadcaster has a different niche, has a different nuance. And you can certainly fine tune it once you get it going, but it's good to have that in mind, because that the stronger your vision, the stronger your potential. And what do you want to achieve? You know, anybody else doing this kind of programming? Is it compatible? Could you be partners working together if you're looking for financing? Do you want to partner with them? What shows do you like out there? These are all just sort of things to think about. And is your show just for broadcast, or do you see it as a larger IP, meaning merchandising, licensing, toys, publishing? So where are you in your process? That's another big one. Are you fully financed? What's your budget? Do you have a broadcaster on board already and you just need a little bit of the money, or do you just have a little bit of the money and you need the bulk of it? So these are things that your distributor will certainly be helping you with and can help you. And knowing where you are in the process is obviously a key point to it all. And so how do you find your distributor? So there's many to choose from. They're all over the world. The children's industry is actually very small, the animation industry. It's big, but it's the same players. And once you're in it and you're circulating, you'll see, and you probably have already noticed that. So one of the questions to think about is, do you want to go with a larger distributor, one that has an animation studio attached already? Because you might want to partner, a co-production partner in that way. Thinking of where you want to do it, where you want to have your partner, that might figure with your distributor. Distributors are global, though, by nature, and have offices generally in different places, but it might be key for you to want a French broadcaster, so you might want a French distributor. Or do you want a smaller company, a company that doesn't have that larger aspect and isn't self-developing? So different questions to ask the distributor, because they will help you in knowing where you feel comfortable, because it's a comfort level. Look at the catalogs that the distributors have. Do you feel that their flavor is your flavor? Is it something that you're looking for, that they have, that you like? Those are really important. And I think the most important is get the feel. Like, do you like what they're talking about, how they work? Find out their process. Are they accessible? Do you feel you get your answers in good enough time? Because this is a partnership, and the distributor will be working with you to bring all the other partners on board. And they are going to be your face to the outside world. So you want to know that you found the right one. And there's certainly get out clauses you can do, but it's best to make the choice. So it is a daunting one. I get it. And so when producers come to us, it's very rare that we get a fully funded show. And when we do, it's wonderful. And they can come to us and they just have a small gap that they need to fill. $400,000, which is a lot, is a big sort of number that you get sometimes. Most distributors are not putting up advances, but you can find them that will, or you can find distributors that will agree to do certain pre-sales for you to get you to that number. or they will just come on and work on a commission basis. It's based on what you're looking for. It's rare to find shows that are fully funded. It's a dream to get them. But I personally like it when shows are still needing financing because there's some input that we can put in them. And that's important as we work in the global market. You know, our job is to look at the whole package you've created, from the commercial and the creative globally. Because what we're doing is we've got our ears to the ground. We're hearing what the broadcasters are looking for. They're telling us, and we know which shows have just been greenlit. We know that if we look at your project, maybe if you age this character up a little bit, put a little bit more action in it, a little bit more comedy, it will make it better. And so if the show is fully financed and in production already, that makes it a little bit more difficult sometimes to make those tweaks. And I can't tell you how many times I've looked at completed shows and thought, if they just have done this, or if they just have done this, we would have been able to sell it better. So these are the expertise things that the distributor can bring to it. So bring your project earlier than later. Don't be shy. So our job is to network. That's what we do. We network. We talk to the broadcasters. We talk to other production companies to know what they're doing, because we might need to find you a production company to work with and to partner with. We network and we negotiate. That's our job. Sell your shows. So when we first receive your show, we need to know where you are in the financing stage, what your strategy is for the show. We want to hear your pitch. We assess your materials and see if what you've told us your show is what the materials actually are. And then we let you know if we think it will sell. We'll give you our critique, the good, the bad, the ugly. And if you're getting the good, the bad, and the ugly, that's a good thing, because it usually means the distributor likes it, or they see something in it, because they won't be telling you the bad if they're not wanting to jump on board and help you. And if we carry on, then work a deal based on what you're looking for, whether it's co-production, you need to find co-production partners, you need to find writers, you need to find financing, just pre-sales, or just a strategy to get you from A to B. So we put together the strategy for the creative. We put this strategy together to build the brand, from broadcast to merchandising and licensing, toy, publishing, gaming, if we believe it has that aspect. If you're in the development phase, we can bring in a toy expert to look at the property too, to say, yes, you know, this is toyetic, because again, as I mentioned, distributors look at a program and say, oh, if we'd only gotten our fingers on this earlier. Toy companies do that too. That if they just built this project a little different, it might have been a little bit more toyetic. So those are the strategies that we help to put forth. We help to path your way forward to pre-launch and post-launch, the sales, the marketing. We strategize the path to green light, how we can raise the money to close your financing and get you into production. And finally, we do the strategy for marketing and sales forecasts, and the selling, the actual nuts and bolts of the project later down the line. And in marketing the project, what the distributor does is they might advertise. They will definitely be advertising internally to their buyers, sending out emails, personalized emails. We send all kinds of information to the broadcasters, good news, PR. We have our websites. And we take care of the facilitation, the delivery, the reporting when the project's done, just to be your extension to the world. And we liaise with the broadcasters once the show is sold, and to licensing partners to find you that. So the good thing with a distributor, if you're trusting them, you can be hands-on as you like, or hands-off. We have some producers that really want to be involved with the broadcasters, and some that are like, no, that freaks me out. I don't want to be there. So that happens a lot. And in terms of putting deals together with distributors, they often work obviously on commission. It's a big factor. Depending on what you're requiring from your distributor, if you're coming in and you want a lot of financing and you really need their hand, they can come in and partner with you and get an ownership. You can negotiate that, get pre-sales financing. So there's all kinds of ways to slice the pie. That's the interesting thing about our business, and co-production. So there's all kinds of ways to work it. And the distributor can sell in one territory, which is generally how they mostly like to operate, is take a global stance. But there are some distributors that will just work one area. We prefer to have the whole world because we work the whole world, but it depends. And so they could just purely be on a commission basis, or they can be partners having an equity position, or very, very open. The key thing is communication. Communication is key when you're dealing with your distributor. They are there for you. They are your extension. They are your sales arm. They're a strategic partner in helping you to make and grow your IP so that it becomes a toy brand. And our priority for you is you. For you, for us, is you. And the priority is to grow the brand and exploit it to its fullest. So your distributor is really your partner. We are your matchmaker and your partner. So thank you. Don't forget that at the end of the session, I'm there in the chat room to answer any questions that you might have.
Sorry, gents. It's nothing personal. Finally, the archipelago jewel. Now everyone will know the power of Junkanoo. You're the kids who's been giving Goldenhead a little bit of problems, huh?
We the... Hold up. What did we say our group name was gonna be?
just a boy, so I could only cry. And my mom took me to the schoolyard. That's where I rushed out of the car. It's gloomy, but that's what I like. Is it so bad? I love the sun much less than I do the moon. Is it will I like pale blue painted on the sky? School breaks were always just too far. It always broke me down when we were apart. Was just a boy, so I could only cry. Afternoons were mostly the best part. Soft ground, moist from the rain warms my heart. Impatience wore down on my mind. Is it so bad? I love the sun much less than I do the moon. Is it will I like pale blue painted on the sky? Is it so bad? I love the sun much less than I do the moon. Is it will I like pale blue painted on the sky? Is it so bad? I love the sun much less than I do the moon. Is it will I like pale blue painted on the sky?
Shut up, or I'll eat you for breakfast like all the others.
Gizmo, get up right now. You are going to be late for class.
Come on, Mom. The rest of the world isn't even awake yet.
You were saying?
Gizmo, I'm outside. We're going to be late for the aiming finals.
I'm so gonna fail this exam. I'm gonna get bullied. Even more than being the only dove in school.
I won't let him. Cause we're BOAFTFTS.
What?
Birds of a feather that flock together. Duh. No, let's go surfacing.
But you know it's dangerous, right? Fine. It beats failing the exam.
If you aim and hit these humans, you'll master small targets too.
Cue montage music.
Hey Giz, let's go or we'll be late.
Just let me have one more try. I know I'll hit it this time.
That stupid dove will definitely fail this.
Gizmo, you're next.
The sugarcane man represents the Ugandan warlord Joseph Kony, who operated in northern Uganda for more than 2 decades. Although Uganda is at peace today, the region still grieves for the children who were abducted, killed, and the millions who were displaced from their homes. We dedicate this short film to the people of northern Uganda, especially the children. To this day, Joseph Kony still has not been found, and such efforts have been abandoned. But his legacy of loss remains.
Aujourd'hui, les températures sont fraîches, mais vous allez voir, le week-end va nettement se réchauffer.
And now, one of the moments that we all have been waiting for in this conference. Good afternoon, my name is Debbie KingstOOn, and welcome to the pitch competition of KingstOOn 2021 Animation Conference and Film Festival. This is where we will get to see some of our very own Caribbean animators getting a chance to present their concepts to the world. Exciting stuff, I tell you. Now, for this segment, I will hand you over to the pitch doctor himself, who is really an honorary Jamaican, Mr. Paul Burrows, who will be moderating the pitch competition. Welcome, Paul, or should I say, Wagwan, Paul?
Wagwan, Debbie. Well, how was my accent? Was it all right?
Yes, your accent is great. I think you've been practicing very well.
Well, I'd rather be practicing in person with you, to be honest with you, in the glorious, beautiful island of Jamaica.
Yeah, we're sending you sunshines from Jamaica to London, Paul.
Well, thank you so much,
You're
Debbie.
very welcome.
And thank you for the great job you're doing. Please allow me to give you a brief synopsis of the KingstOOn Emerging Animated Content Competition. The competition is designed to increase and encourage diversity and inclusion and is centered around celebrating diversity in animation with entries reflecting character stories, cultures, and values of underrepresented communities in screen-based industries. We really have got some amazingly talented teams in this final. There were a huge number of entries, and we've whittled them down to the fabulous final 5. These 5 teams have each been individually mentored and coached by television and animation industry legends at the Pitch Boot Camp. Over the past few weeks at the Pitch Boot Camp, me and the coaches have given the teams masterclasses and supported and mentored them to develop their ideas. All of us have given our time, knowledge, and inspiration to give all the teams from the Caribbean the best possible chance to shine in this competition and beyond into the world. Let me tell you about the criteria that the judges will use to discern who will win this competition. This is what they're going to be looking for: creativity and originality, the effective use of imagination and unique characters that connect with global audiences. And for that, they'll be scoring up to 5 points. The story logline, one sentence that clearly defines the story's plot, 5 marks. Character designs and descriptions, they want distinct personalities that are compelling and resonate with global audiences, that connects the story. Again, 5 points. Synopsis, a clearly defined summary of the plot, characters, and how the story ends. 5 marks. Concept art, rough designs of characters and environments that make up the story. 5 marks. Storylines, a short description of 2 of the episodes. 5 marks as well. Promotion, always important promotion. How they plan to promote the animation product using a 360 marketing approach. That's 5 marks as well. Presentation skills, effectiveness of the verbal presentation and the ability to convince the judges that their idea has the originality, longevity, and wow factor to turn it into a successful series. That's 5 marks as well. And finally, responding to the questions, the ability to convincingly and effectively respond to the judges' questions after they've done their presentation. So now we know the criteria. Let's get to know our esteemed panel. Our esteemed panel of judges are as follows. Our first judge is Floyd Norman. Now, Floyd is at 85 years of age. He looks magnificent for it. An animator, storyman, and Disney legend. Floyd Norman is the picture of perseverance and embodies the DNA of cultural diversity in the corporate arts. He was the first African American at Disney, arriving in 1956, Floyd's 65-year plus career spans work on classics like Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians, Mary Poppins, The Jungle Book. He has worked for a number of animation companies, among them Walt Disney Animation Studios, Hanna-Barbera Productions, Ruby Spears, Film Roman, and Pixar. Now that is some CV. Our next judge is Ms. Kimberly Wright. Kimberly Wright has a rich history in television, spending over 11 years working as a producer for Telepictures, NBC, and Paramount Pictures. Currently, Kimberly is the film producer for Sesame Street, commissioning live-action, animated, and mixed media short films. She has also participated in the Screen Producers of Australia conference, served as a judge for New Zealand's Show Me Shorts Film Festival, and 2 years ago, at Jamaica's 2019 KingstOOn Animation Festival. Kimberly has received 2 Daytime Emmy Awards. Hugely impressive. And our final judge is Edu Martin. Edu Martin is a veteran of the animation industry with a career that spans almost 25 years. He has worked in worldwide renowned companies such as Ilion Animation Studios, Animal Logic, Pixar, and Skydance Animation. He currently works as a computer graphics supervisor for long-form animated shows, offering consulting services to animation companies that are looking forward to integrating real-time technology into their pipelines. Those are our judges, ladies and gentlemen, and I think you'll agree they're hugely experienced and perfectly qualified to judge our 5 entries. Now let me tell you about the number of submissions received, how the selection process was done, and where we are now in the competition. There were 36 entries from all over the Caribbean. The competition opened in October 2020 and went through to March 2021 on Film Freeway. At the close of the competition, entries were given in and the judging started. Firstly, a shortlist was created by an expert panel of local judges, animated lecturers in Jamaica, to select entries that complied with the competition rules and regulations. All the entries that did not comply were not selected to go on to the next stage. Then an expert panel of international judges rated the shortlisted entries. At any given time, each entry was rated by 3 judges. The 3 ratings for each entry were averaged, and the top 5 highest rated concepts were selected. Now, there is someone who has been instrumental in putting this inspirational event together, and he is the animation specialist at the Jamaican government, Mr. Robert Reed. I'd like to share some of Mr. Reed's comments. He says, looking back at the evolution of KingstOOn from 2013 to 2021, I've seen a significant improvement in the entries coming from the Caribbean in terms of the quality, the quantity, and the global appeal of the content. The judges' feedback is that the concept of the finalist entries are really very, very good designs, representing culture and situations from Jamaica and Caribbean for different target audiences and different styles. And these could be very attractive for the international market. Now it's time to introduce our 5 hugely experienced TV and animation industry coaches. Each one has done a magnificent job over the past few weeks, mentoring and coaching their teams. The coaches are Munya Aram. Munya is the founder and president of the Munya Aram Company, and she is the coach for Team Jellyman Adventures. Munya, please tell us a little bit about yourself and give your team some last-minute advice and encouragement.
Thank you, Paul. I'm so happy to be here at the KingstOOn Festival, even if it's online. So I'm the founder and president of Muyaram Company, a company that is specialized in African animation that I want to bring to the international market in terms of production and distribution. And I'm really happy and excited about the team of Jellyman. So guys, remember, breathe from your stomach, and peace and love.
Lovely. Breathe from your stomach and peace and love. Brilliant advice. Thank you, Munya. Our next judge is Carlos Bien. He is the president of animation productions and co-productions at Toon Media Group. He's coached for Team Jumbi. Carlos, please introduce yourself and give your team some inspiration and advice.
Well, I'm so excited to be here virtually. I was here 2 years ago when it was live, and I hope to see another pitch bootcamp coming in the next few years. I'm very excited to have been helping, a great studio called Gem GFX coming from Trinidad and Tobago. And I think they have a unique project that underlines the kind of characters and the kind of stories with a strong female character that the audience wants. All I can say is that GMFX has all the expertise and all the design and the story that will really attract you with the Caribbean influence like we want. So Everard and the rest of the team, please enjoy what you do and enjoy the pitch presentation like you have done working with me. Thank you.
Great advice, Carlos, and good advice for everyone. Enjoy it, because this should be fun. Our next judge is Florian Wagner. Florian is supervising director for Mainframe Studios, and he is a coach for Team Princess Paddacake. Florian, please give us some background and some words for your team.
Thank you, Paul. I'm excited to be here. This is my second time with KingstOOn after having been there in person in 2016. This time I had the opportunity to work with Patrick Meikle and his team on Project Paddacake, which turned out to be a highly original project. Having directed television productions and feature film work, I was really coming at it from an originality standpoint. So trying to really push the entertainment to its maximum. And that's what we did together. I was very impressed with how the team embraced the suggestions and was able to polish it to this point that it's come now. So I'm very curious to see what the judges will think, what the audience will think. Patrick and team, all I can say is you've cooked a delicious meal. Now everybody's going to enjoy it, I hope.
Oh, beautiful words, Florian. Now we look forward to tasting that delicious meal later. Our penultimate judge is, or rather not judge, rather coach, is Josh Selig. Josh is founder and president of China Bridge Content. He is coach for Team Yard Boys. Josh, please tell us a little bit more about yourself and give some encouragement to your team.
Thanks, Paul. It's been a great, very busy week for me and the Yard Boys team. My background is creating preschool content. I created The Wonder Pet, Small Potatoes, a bunch of other shows. I've been really deeply impressed with the team on Yard Boys. They've worked deep into the night. I get files from them at 2 a.m. They are just so full of heart and humor and passion for this project. And I believe it's really an exceptional, exceptional show. So I hope the judges enjoy it. And thank you for having me.
Thank you, Josh. Well, Josh, we're really looking forward to hearing Team Yard Boys pitch. And finally, our final coach is Simon Banks. Simon is a video strategist and content creator with his company Tall Boy Communications Limited. He also lectures in the business of television, and he is the coach for Team How's That? Simon, tell us a little about yourself and your team.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. It's great to join you here from a rather chilly London at the moment. Yes, I'm a producer, strategist, author and lecturer. I've been working in the industry for decades, and I've had the pleasure of working with Rene Holder, who his pitches you'll hear soon is called How's That? So for all those cricket lovers, this is for a treat for you. My tip for Rene is big smile. You've got this. And remember, the force is strong with you.
Oh, well, thanks, Simon. The force is indeed strong with all of you. So I hope that you have enjoyed meeting our judges, ladies and gentlemen, our magnificent coaches. Now, we move on to the pitch teams themselves. There are 5 teams in the pitch competition finals, and they are all Caribbean teams. We have 3 teams from Jamaica and 2 from the Twin Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. The Jamaican teams are Jellyman Adventures. This animation is about an aging martial artist who is eager to uncomplicate his life of coconut vending. However, with his granddaughter, they are embroiled in a seedy conspiracy, which leads them to being caught up in a dangerously wacky and mystical adventure. The story name is Jellyman Adventures. They're from Jamaica. Their team members are Shaquille Cross, Kyle Andrew Lee, Shavadi Gray, Dwayne Pottinger. Our next team are Princess Padacake. This story is about young Princess Padacake, who after her father's sudden disappearance is left to lead and protect her home, the Kingdom of Gourmet. Alongside her royal guardians, the Caterer's Circle, she has to protect them from the dumpies. Story name, Princess Padacake. Country of origin, Jamaica. Team members, Patrick Michael, Joel McFarlane, Leo Rule, Jason Henry. Our next team are Yard Boys. 3 mischievous youths from Western Jamaica try to enjoy their childhood to the fullest, but must deal with the repercussions that come with it. Story name, Yard Boys. They're from Jamaica. Team members are Mikhail Lawson, Andre Rankin, Carla Shea Wilson, and Jardine James. Now we move on to the teams from Trinidad and Tobago. First team is Team Jumbi. This animation is about a 17-year-old girl who chooses to use her misfortune to fight the evil forces plaguing her country. Story name, Jumbi. They're from Trinidad and Tobago, and the team members are Everard McBain Jr. and Dixie Ann Archer McBain. Our final entry is How's That? This is an animation based around the sport of cricket and a friendship that gets challenged by separation. Story name, How's That? From Trinidad and Tobago. Team members, Renee Holder and Tracy Hutchins. Ladies and gentlemen, those are our finalists. Before I invite the first team up to pitch their animation project, just let me run through the rules. Each team has 5 minutes to present their pitch and just 1 go to present it. There will be no retakes and no do-overs. Welcome to the real world of pitching, guys. At the end of each 5-minute pitch, 2 of the judges will give their feedback and ask questions about what they saw. So, without further ado, let me introduce our first team captain. Presenting Jellyman Adventures, please welcome Shaquille Cross.
Thank you, Paul. Pride and fear are emotions we're all familiar with on some level, especially as storytellers. What are stories, if not emotions, experiences, how we share what's important to us? That's something me and my team are definitely prideful about, the power of storytelling. However, sadly, there's a looming fear for us that we may never get the chance to truly tell our stories, to share what's important to us, and, unfortunately, we may disappear. So why don't I fix that right here, right now, by telling you a story from my wonderful little island of Jamaica. There's Jamba, also known as Jellyman, and his granddaughter Ricky. They're coconut vendors and they live a simple life. That is, of course, until a sinister town mayor, Iknana, forces them into hunting Jamaican folklore monsters. Quite a left turn, I know, and you probably have a lot of questions. Top of your list is probably, what in the world is a jellyman? That's a term we use here in Jamaica to describe a coconut vendor. You'll be learning a lot of little tidbits just like that one on this journey. Now, let's meet our characters, shall we? First of all, there's Jamba. He's 62 years old and he is as wise as he is gray. He's a laid-back and quiet coconut vendor, but he enjoys a good laugh. And much like myself, he loves telling stories to his customers. On the hunt though, he's fierce and he's a creative fighter, much like the heroes from his favorite kung fu movies. His granddaughter, on the other hand, Ricky, she's 12 years old and she's the complete opposite to her grandfather. She's energetic and bursting at the seams with excitement. Often, she acts without thinking, which usually leaves Jamba to pick up the pieces. To be honest, she's kind of a bad coconut vendor too. But these are the qualities that make her a tremendous monster hunter, especially with her trusty slingshot and active imagination. Two things she never leaves home without. Now, let's meet their arch nemesis, the big bad of the story, the sour patch in their life, Mayor Iknana. She's the mayor of the rural hillside town of Hogwark. She's fierce and brutal. She's infamous amongst town folks for her wicked ways. She never plays by the rules, and she keeps a very close guarded secret that she herself is a folklore monster. Plot twist, people. You see, in 26 episodes of 11-minute 2D animation, 6 to 12-year-olds will be going on a journey with our main characters in the town of Hogwark, where they will meet a wacky and hilarious cast of side characters. They'll experience the most alluring parts of Jamaican culture, colorful, delicious food, and riveting, diverse street life. Then, adventure will bring us into the surrounding forest. Intriguing and mysterious, Ricky and Jumbo will face off against raging, flaming bulls and wicked water demons, even wicked witches flamboyantly perusing as night owls. You see, it's going to be a fun flurry of exciting action. But ultimately, they must defeat and uncover the secret of their town mayor if they ever hope to return to a normal life of coconut vending. It's a lot of flash and a lot of bang, people. So, to stay on course with sharing our culture and connecting with our audience, each episode will be titled and thematically centered around a Jamaican proverb. Proverbs such as, want all, lose all. Or maybe you've heard, can't catch Quaco, catch him shut. Or my personal favorite, one hand, watch the other, which simply means mutual cooperation benefits all parties. Trust me, there's no shortage of proverbs, so there will be no shortage of lessons. And there definitely won't be a shortage of episodes. So people, if you want to learn about my Jamaican culture, if you want to experience a riveting and exciting story with bellies full of laughter, and if you believe it is necessary and our children deserve to be armed with allegories that will teach them universal themes, then there's only one thing to do, and that's to join us on the Jellyman journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shaquille. What a start. What a start. I just love the line. It's a lot of flash and it's a lot of bang. That's great. So our two judges who are going to give feedback and ask questions are going to be Floyd Norman and Kimberly Wright on this. They have 5 minutes each. So Floyd, would you like to start?
Okay, I'll start. Guys, good job. Great pitch. And when I'm working in an animation studio and something is pitched to us, I often ask myself, would I like to work on this series? Would I have fun? Would I enjoy being a part of this idea? And I would love to work on Jellyman. I think it's great how you brought the two generations together with the grandfather and his that's a terrific idea because it gives us the perspective of age. the older gentleman and his granddaughter working together. I love the fact that enjoying this series, we'll have the opportunity to learn about Jamaican culture. And so that's another asset. I think this series gives us an opportunity for a lot of fun, a lot of lessons learned, and a lot of information about the culture and the Caribbean. So it looks like it's a very intriguing project. You've done a great job in developing the characters and the ideas, the themes that you're going to bring in, the Jamaican folklore as well. That's another asset. It looks like it's a lot of fun, and all I can say is a job well done. Now, I have a question for you. What made you decide to bring together a young person and an older person? That's a pretty cool idea. What made you decide to go in that direction?
Well, thank you so much, first of all, for your kind comments and for your intrigue in our concept. I love that question so much because it's something we put a lot of thought into. In this series, we want to explore the theme of closing the divide of generational gaps, right? And we thought by bringing together old wisdom and young, fresh energy and showing that marriage on screen, triumphing into a better future, we could capture a lot of hearts and teach a lot of lessons that will make this a better world for our children.
Great, thank you. That's great.
Any more questions, Floyd?
No, I think he's answered my question. Good job, guys. Very good job.
Well, excellent answer. And obviously you've satisfied Mr. Norman, which is a great job. I'd like to hand over to Kimberly right now for some feedback and some questions.
Sure thing. Shaquille, an amazing pitch. I could really feel the energy of this show through your pitch. It got me excited to want to see more. I love the teaching kids about Jamaican culture through this folklore. I think it's just a really great approach. It's really fascinating. And just your whole, the why of it, the pride and the fear, that kind of drew me in for sure. And then, I was thinking about monster hunting. I mean, who doesn't love monsters? I think that could transcend all ages in terms of your viewership and who's going to want to watch the show, aside from your target audience, which I think is on point. I love also that each episode has this, new adventure to it, and this female villain, I thought, being the mayor was really interesting to me as well. It was a kind of a nice twist. And like Floyd mentioned, I too was fascinated by this dynamic of the grandfather and the granddaughter. And that leads me to actually one of the questions, which similar to what Floyd asked, but I was wondering if this relationship, the grandparent and the grandchild, came from anyone on the team, like having a relationship with a grandparent. Is that kind of sparked your wanting to have that relationship?
Right. Well, thank you so much, Kimberly, for your kind comments, and also again for your interest in our concept. Right. Did we draw from experience for this concept of marrying these two characters with such an age difference? In some ways, yes. Probably not explicitly grandfather and grandchild, but in our lives we have a lot of mentors who are significantly older than us, and they're not very reserved with how much they share with us and how much they teach us. And without them, we wouldn't be here today. So we wanted to pay tribute to them in some ways, and in some ways just show that old people aren't all that bad.
Right. Okay. I did have one additional question. The mayor, Iknana, am I pronouncing it right? Iknana?
Yes, you are.
I find it interesting that she has this secret. So I was just curious, is that secret ever revealed, like at the end of the series, or was there any, thought about that, or is she always harbored this secret and it never comes out?
Right.
We have to stay tuned. We have to stay tuned, probably.
Right. Well, our thinking is that at some point, closer to the end of the series, however long that takes, we'll uncover that secret, right? And it will be a very climactic point in the story. Something we can't return from. It's a new status quo after that.
Love it. Amazing job. Very, very good.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Kimberly, and thank you, Shaquille, because it's nice to know for all of us coaches and judges that old people aren't that bad. Great job. Always difficult to be the first, and you've done a great job there. So thank you to Floyd and Kimberly for your incisive and interesting questions. Now to introduce our next team captain, presenting Princess Padacake, please welcome Patrick Meikle.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Thank you. Patacake, patacake, baker's girl, create me a cake in your magical world. Princess Patacake is a 52 by 11 2D animated series that's targeted for 6 to 12-year-olds looking for fantasy, action, and adventure. Now, what's this series about? A jealous villain disrupts a wonderful land by kidnapping its king and robbing a young girl of her father. After her father's disappearance, the princess must use the culinary arts to keep her food kingdom safe from rogue leftovers. Now, what is this beautiful kingdom? It's the world of gourmet, where everything is made of food and everyone is a chef, right? So you think about houses made from gingerbread. You think about milk rivers flowing under cinnamon stick bridges. And all of it is on top of a ground made of stuffed pizza crust. But in this world, culinary arts aren't just for preparing or serving food. They're also martial arts, right? So any aspiring master chef has to learn the necessary techniques in order to be a part of one of the 3 menus of gourmet: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the leader of these menus are called the Caterers Circle. And they are also the royal guards and advisors to the monarchy, which brings us to our energetic, charismatic, but easily frustrated Princess Patacake. She is the young girl whose father has been taken away. And now she must save her kingdom and rescue her father. But she has to master the 3 menus. Now, she's actually royalty and knows about the secret menu, dessert. So she kicks butt with dessert attacks. But if she doesn't take it easy, she'll go into a sugar rush, right? But the Caterers Circle is there to prevent that from happening. Now, the Caterers Circle is made up of 3 members. We have our leader, Sir Bertram, who is the leader of the dinner menu. We have Bon Bon, who is the leader of the breakfast menu and second in command. And we have Macherie, who is the leader of the lunch menu. Now, who is the one who has brought this turmoil to this land? It is Kramer, the candlestick maker. This lonely, scheming wax creator coming from the world of wax is jealous of everybody in the kingdom of gourmet because what they touch makes beautiful food. But with him, whatever he touches turns to wax. Now, what he does, he takes the leftovers from their kingdom, merges it with his wax to create these grotesque creatures called dumpies. And he sends them out to kidnap the king and also to continue to wreak havoc in gourmet. Now, that's a lot of fun, but what would an episode look like? Let's talk about slow burn. Princess Patacake gets furious because she loses this game of hot potato with the Caterers Circle. She storms off, but she leaves a sandwich cookie left over that Kramer gets and turns into a dumpy. The dumpy pursues Patacake, it corners her, and she has to battle it. She's attacking and attacking, but it's not working. But she realizes it gets really, really hot when it's angered. So she taunts it until it just melts its own insides. She learned how to defeat it without her attacks, but she also learned that her anger will be her own undoing and downfall. So how we'd like to promote Princess Patacake is in a few ways. We'd like to have a short cooking series for social media for kids, right? We'd also love to make strategic partnerships with food brands who'd love to make some snacks from the foods in the world of gourmet, right? Maybe hostess. We'd also like to make some games based off of the foods and the culinary arts and license and merchandise some of the tools that they use in the series to have them be utensils for kids and parents at home to cook with. So, all in all, do you want to see Princess Patacake save her world, reunite with her father, and take down the Kramer candlestick maker? then join us on this wonderful journey. Because I promise you, Princess Patty Cake is a full course meal that will have you licking your plate. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Great job. And I wonder if you've made the judges hungry for more. So the two judges who are going to actually scrutinize what you've done are Edu Martin and Kimberly Wright. So Edu, let's start with you. What's your feedback on that?
Thank you, Patrick, for the presentation. It was fantastic. It is having such a fresh, animation series that it is like it's just having like some basic things that are very, very strong there. That it is like the cuisine, and it is like having the kids like getting closer to food and cooking. And actually, I think there is a potential also for you guys, and this is just a suggestion, to just spin it off or create, as you were mentioning in the pitch, applications, or even the same series, like teaching the kids how to cook some of those delicious food after the show, or in like transmedia, right? Like going into YouTube or applications or whatever. But and also you have all these martial arts that I think we all love. So I think it is very fresh, new concept of mixing things that are already existing, but in a very new and interesting way. So congratulations on the show. I love the style as well, and I think I can see a lot of potential in this show for the kids. I have two little kids, and I'm sure they will be loving those characters and those stories. So thanks for the pitch, and good luck with the project.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Truly appreciate the suggestions and everything.
Edu, do you have any questions for Patrick?
There is just a little question. It is like how much importance is going to have the king is going to have in the show. It is like something that it is just kicking off the stories, or there is like something unexpected or surprises that will come along as the show progresses.
Thank you. That is actually a very good question. So yes, the king will still take part in the entire series. It's just that we'll be seeing more interaction with him and Kramer, the candlestick maker, since he's his captive. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Great. So Kimberly, what did you think of Patrick's presentation?
Patrick, amazing job. Very, very good. Loved your energy. First of all, I want to live in the kingdom of gourmet. Being a foodie, a self-proclaimed foodie nonetheless, but I just thought it was really, really refreshing. I love the whimsical colorfulness of it, the color palette, just the whole look of it, kind of felt very Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory-esque to me, which is really great. I also see this being like a video game. Like I feel like I can see her racing, Princess Patty Cake racing through the kingdom, scoring points and jumping over cupcakes, that sort of thing. So I thought that was great. I was curious how, maybe you could explain a little bit just how the three menus of gourmet and the caterer circle, kind of how they all work together. I wasn't so sure, like do they work with her and how that works.
Okay, thank you so much for your comments and compliments as well, Kimberly. Very, very grateful. To answer your question, so how the kingdom works is that you have the monarchy, which is the connoisseur, that's our princess. But then you have the caterer circle, who is the closest to the princess or the monarchy. They rule all of the other factions, which is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So it's a big hierarchical system. So essentially, the connoisseur would rule those factions as well, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But yes.
Okay, got it. All right, that makes sense.
Yes.
And is each episode, is there a new adventure, and is there like a payoff at the end of each episode, so to speak?
Yes. There is a new adventure, and the payoff, we want Princess Patty Cake to learn more about being a ruler and more about herself and her powers after each episode. Yes.
Okay, very good. Very unique and very refreshing.
Yes, thank you.
Great job.
Thank you, Kimberly. It was great. And thank you, Patrick, for that tasty offering. Let's move on to our third presentation now. I'd like to introduce you to Team 3, whose project is Yard Boys. Please welcome to present Mikael Lawson and Carla Shea Wilson.
Hello everybody, my name is Mikael Lawson and this is my presenter assisting me, Carla Shea Wilson. Alright, so the reason why I created the Yard Boys was because I wanted Jamaica to have its very own animated series on TV. So the Yard Boys is an animated series that is geared towards kids 6 to 11. So it's about 3 boys and their misadventures in trying to enjoy their lives to the fullest. But things doesn't usually end well for them. So this series, it borrows from the 90s era of cartoon animation. Here's a gist of how the episodes work. So one day, the guys decide to build a kite, right? So then comes this other kid with an even bigger kite. So they decided that they're going to build an even bigger one. So when they build a bigger kite, needless to say, things did not end well for them. So what happens is that the kite ends up taking away one of their friends, and they end up having to chase that friend while being chased by bullies. Crazy, huh? All right, here are the characters. So Jake, he is the self-absorbed one. He likes things going his way. He likes to just have everything his way and he doesn't listen to anybody else. And his catchphrase is, all according to plan, even when it isn't. The other one, by looking at this guy, he looks like an idiot, but he's actually not. He's actually the smartest one on the team. He's the brains of the crew. And his catchphrase is, I'm not dumb, I'm daring. There's a difference. Mackie is the conscience of the team. So basically, he's that guy who tries to, nudge them out of a bad idea. And his catchphrase is, I bet you didn't think that's true.
Why 3 boys? Yard Boys represent youth at its core, wild, rowdy, and with a big, generous serving of stupidity. What better way to showcase this than 3 mischievous boys from Western Jamaica? With that being said, these guys obviously need guidance, not only from their parents, but from the community. We wanted to show that female characters doesn't necessarily need a lead role in a story for them to make a substantial impact. We wanted to show that a female character doesn't need to be at the forefront in order to be appreciated by the masses. There is a constant thing nowadays where everybody thinks that a female character has to be a lead in order to make an important impact. I say there is pride in being the support. Here are a few more characters in the story. We have Misty here. This is Jake's 6-year-old neighbor. She often tries to get them in trouble, and her signature phrase is, I'm telling. We have Grandma, Miss Royce, Jake's caring 73-year-old grandmother. She oftentimes having to have trouble with Jake, and her way of saying this is, I'm getting too old for this. This is Richard, not a female character, but just as important. He's the rich kid in the neighborhood. His family is from England, and his signature phrase is, when I was back in England. This is Jodie McKennis, Jake's love interest. She's calm, soft-spoken, and very into art.
All right, so this is Rick and Biggs. They are the neighborhood bullies. So Rick, he is the pushy one, always trying to rush things. Biggs, he is the brains of the crew. Here's how an episode works. So basically, this is the Sugar Rush episode. This is the episode where Mackie discovered some drinks that he was not supposed to partake of, and then he drank it, and then he went crazy all over the town. And then, as soon as his mother returns home, the side effects wear off, and he gives his mother a drink, and the guys are in the back like, no! Right? And we have different storylines. that we're actually working on. Here's an episode when Jake forgets what to buy, and another episode when they discovered invisible ink, and another episode where they went on a field trip and got themselves in trouble. And the marketing strategy basically will be on every social media known to man, and we'll also have a website. Also, this is my team, and I think that we are the guys to work with, and Yard Boys.
Over to Edu Martin and Floyd Norman, who are going to give you feedback and ask you some questions. First, Floyd, let's kick off.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, guys. Once again, thanks for a cool pitch. Yacht Boys brings back memories when I was a young animator, and I had the opportunity to work for my good colleague Bill Melendez on Peanuts. So little kids, young kids, can be very, very entertaining. So I think you made a wise choice with having your protagonists be young kids, you know, not older. Everybody thinks they want to skew older, but I think having kids 6 to 11 is probably a wise choice. You have the opportunity to exploit their personalities. I like the characters. A big thing, no girls in the group. And once again, I think a very clever choice because, you know, the first thing people ask, well, where's the female character? Well, there's no female leads, yet the females have a profound influence over the boys.
Yes.
Because, you know, they're there in the background, but there are lessons to be learned. And those lessons are usually taught by females because, you know, we all know that girls are smarter than boys anyway, right? So that's a really cool idea. Yeah, and we know that that young boys are going to make a lot of dumb and foolish mistakes, but they have the opportunity to learn from those mistakes. And once again, I think you've made a wise choice of having the boys fumble and stumble and often do the wrong things, but they learn an important lesson from those mistakes. So good job. This is an opportunity to have a lot of fun, develop personalities, and I look forward to seeing more of Yacht Boys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Have you got any questions for them, Floyd? Anything or advice on how they could improve it, perhaps?
I have a question. What made you decide? I mean, what was that decision to not include a girl in that, you know, that close-knit group of boys? Was that a conscious decision to leave the girls out?
Most
and
definitely.
Keep the background?
Well, yes, because it is mainly based on my childhood experiences growing up. It is coming from the experience of a male like myself. I went through some crazy stuff growing up, and I would like the world to actually see what it is like growing up in Jamaica.
Right, and I like the concept that we kept it kind of like a boys' club, but at the same time, I think things are getting a little too political these days. That's just my opinion. And I think that there's an emphasis in saying a female character has to be a lead in order to be important or to be heard. My personal opinion is there is, like in life, in the bigger picture, in bigger companies, we're not all the lead, but we do play a very important part in it. And I wanted to make sure that we see the boys, but at the same time, we see all the female characters surrounding them and their importance and seeing how they impact them. And there is pride in that.
Good.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent and interesting answers. Edu, what were your thoughts?
Thank you. Thanks, Paul. Congratulations, you guys, also for the amazing job that you've been putting together. I agree with Norman. It is like with Jet Floyd, sorry, about the very interesting things that are happening in that show. It is like having the fun on one side, the entertainment side of it, but also learning what happens there. And it is also preventing, because it is, you can put situations there that it is like not only guessing the audience what's going to happen because of that behavior, but also have the same way that Floyd was mentioning, it is like how they fix those things. So there's nothing wrong doing things, making mistakes, and it is as long as you learn the lesson. And I think you have a lot of value on that, on those episodes. And also with the three kids, the three different characters I think they are very well taken. It is like they open the possibilities to a lot of fun as well and thought, because it is like one probably like going the craziest one the smartest, but you don't know, and then the kind of the complementary one that it is like the one that it's taking things back a little bit and not being so brave. I think that opens also a lot of doors to fun and to stories and all that stuff. So that's it for me, and I think it has the right balance of fun and entertainment with also the teaching part and learning. That it is, I think it's important in cartoons. We are reaching, but you guys are reaching potential to a lot of people, and I think we should be taking advantage of that, like being like social influencers in a way, and then teaching the right things to everyone, to kids, to parents, or everyone. So thanks for the presentation and congratulations for the job.
Thank you for your feedback.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's great, lovely feedback. And have you got any questions that you'd like to ask them before Edu?
No, I'm good. It is like I think they already answered the one that I had during the presentation, and then answering to Floyd.
Well, that's brilliant. When you've answered all the questions in your presentation, you know you've done a good job. Thank you, Mikhail and Carla Shea.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's time for our penultimate team captain. Presenting Jumbi, please welcome Everard McBain.
Thank you, Paul. Jumbies. Now, they are evil, malicious, and nasty spirits from Trinidad and Tobago folklore. If something really bad happens, most people would say it's a Jumbi that was responsible. So for the average person experiencing the misfortune of a Jumbi curse could mean the end of the world. But for Giselle Anderson, a 17-year-old secondary school student from Trinidad and Tobago, it means the beginning of an adventure. Now, when she's not training with her capoeira class, Giselle likes working on her art and sharing it on social media. But the likes and the follows she gets from that isn't enough to satisfy her chronic desire to be popular. So she hatches a plan, and it's flawless. All she has to do is pull off the prank of the century during her school field trip to the Silk Cotton Tree in Tobago, be sure to get it on video, and then watch the video go viral. How was she to know that her prank would summon a real Jumbi, and that she would get expelled, and that she would be turned into a Jumbi? Needless to say, Giselle's parents are disappointed in her. But she gets a second chance when she gets a scholarship to a special school owned by a Mr. Brian Castle. He is a wealthy businessman known for his great charity. So it goes without saying, she has to keep her Jumbi curse a secret. Therefore, she has a new plan, and it's flawless. All she has to do is keep a very low profile until her best friends, Akash, the sarcastic nerd, and Melissa, the timid rebel, help her find a cure. Well, that's before she realized that the Jumbi curse gave her some really cool powers. And for some reason, bad things started happening all over Trinidad and Tobago. It bothered her so much that she decides to use these new powers to stop these bad things from happening. How was she to know that there were other Jumbis loose and that they were coming after her? And how was she to know that all this Jumbi activity would get the attention of the authorities? The authorities appointed a special task force led by Inspector Roger Gauntlet, whose arrogant self-confidence assures him that he could have the dangerous fugitive Jumbi in custody and be back home by lunchtime. And they appointed the no-nonsense, by-the-book Sergeant Suku, who wants to save taxpayers the expense of keeping a Jumbi in jail. But hey, no problem. Giselle has a plan, and the plan is flawless. All she has to do is find and deport all the Jumbis back to hell, avoid the task force at all costs. But how was she to know that Mr. Castle, remember that wealthy businessman, was secretly a powerful Obia man, a type of witch doctor, who knows the real story about Giselle's past, that she was a sickly child at birth, and that her grandmother, unknown to her parents, made a deal with Mr. Castle to heal Giselle. And this same Mr. Castle was the one who actually cursed her when she was a child, and now he wants her Jumbie powers for himself. So Giselle has to find a way to stop Mr. Castle, protect her family, find all the other Jumbies, avoid being caught by Inspector Gauntlet and Sergeant Supu, and find a cure for her curse. But hey, it's cool because Giselle is from Trinidad and Tobago. She has a plan, and that plan is flawless. We plan to launch with an 1-hour pilot, followed by 26 episodes, 30 minutes each. And the show deals with it's a coming of age story that deals with topics of redemption and dealing with difficult circumstances. And now we'll have a small snippet, a video of what Jumbie would look like.
My mother had a saying, you know. She used to say, Trinidad and Tobago is a different kind of place. This country don't need no hero. What it really need is a Jumbie.
Well, where I come from, Jumbie is devilty.
You have no idea.
Wow, what a finish. Thank you so much indeed, Team Jumbie and Everard. So our judges for this one are going to be Kimberly Wright and Edu Martin. Kimberly, let's start with you. What did you think of Jumbie?
I thought it was great. Great presentation. I love another female, protagonist, and this time using her misfortune to fight the bad guys. I thought it had a really almost like a superhero Marvel-esque kind of feel to it, which is really cool. And that there were a couple of, these female heroes taking charge. Always love to see that. I think that's great, especially for the female viewers. I thought the character design was really well done. And the futuristic setting kind of lent itself to, I feel like it could skew even older than the demo that you mentioned, just because it seems very complex with the setting. It definitely felt like it had potential for a comic book series as well. And I was curious what you thought would kind of set it apart, because there's a lot of folklore in it and, mythology. What do you feel sets Jumbie apart from maybe other series involving the folklore and these types of characters? What makes it different? Well,
the fact that she uses a bad thing to do good. Mm-hmm. So often in society, in the world that we live in, people place labels on people, depending on where you come from, depending on what you look like, depending on what happened in your past. You are branded as no good or bad or wicked. And she, being a Trinidadians have the unique ability to make the best of a bad situation. That's something it's sometimes interpreted as being lackadaisical, but that's not true. We just have a way of dealing with difficult circumstances by approaching it in a light-hearted manner. So the unique thing about it is that she uses this bad, difficult, evil thing called the Jumbie. That could be a circumstance, that could be a past mistake, it could be anything. And she turns it around and she uses it for good. you know, and I think that's the thing that we want to highlight a lot of people. You don't have to be subject to your circumstance, your place, or your label, the labels that people put on you, in order to make a change or make a difference or do something good in the society that you live in.
Gotcha. Okay. And one other quick question: how I was curious how Melissa and is it Akash?
Akash, yeah.
Akash, how they kind of fit into the story? How are they weaved into the story?
Well, they are the only ones who know her secret, apart from the villain, Mr. Castle. They are her sidekicks, if you want to call it. So Akash is a nerd, and he has a lot of experience in and where history is concerned in Trinidad and Tobago folklore. He knows Jumbi's weaknesses. He knows how to fight monsters and that type of stuff. And Melissa is simply her cheerleader. You know, she's the rebel. She goes against societal norms, you know. She doesn't conform. And she is Giselle's, conscience then when it comes to dealing with those aspects of the thing. So that's how they two help balance her and help her on this adventure. Yeah.
Okay. Well done. Very powerful characters, and definitely an exciting look and story.
Appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, Edu, what would you like to say to Everard?
Just say again, congratulations to having made it to the final. It has been probably a tough competition with so many entrances. So making it up here, it is already a reward. And also and also same thing as Kimberly. It reminds me a lot of the superheroes comic book actually, and also the movies that translated later, and even the fact that the main character it's kind of misleading, the fact that she's acting for good, but then she's still like, no, it's unfair in a way because she's helping, but still she's prosecuted by the authorities. So I think that's also quite powerful in order to empathize with the character, right? And I think that would be it for me. Besides, well, actually, it is already the question was already answered to Kimberly, because I was also wondering what is the surrounding team around the main character, right? Because it is like she's kind of isolated in a way and acting by herself, but you probably are expecting to have someone by her side. And I was also wondering who were those guys that were also supportive, so that she was not alone, and she felt that she had to move on and had all that support from their friends or whoever, family or whatever.
Thank you. Well, as I said with Kimberly, the superhero feel that you see, I actually grew up on 80s cartoons, Thundercats, G.I. Joe, and so forth and so on. So that's where that cartoon, comic book influence comes from. And her teammates are Akash and Melissa, and they are the ones who support her on this journey. So she's, as you rightly said, she's not alone.
Right.
Excellent. Well, great work, Everard, and thank you, Kimberly and Edu. Now we come to the final pitch of this impressive event with the final team captain presenting How's That? Please welcome Renee Holder.
I am excited today to introduce our in-development animated series called How's That? And we have a short teaser that I'm going to play for you now to kind of get you guys primed up for what the show's about. So you guys can roll video.
This game goes well beyond the cricket field. We need the best, and you need to be surrounded by the best. It's not a one-man show, Luke. It's about the team.
So did you know that cricket actually has 2.5 billion fans worldwide? That's 5 times the amount of fans for baseball and almost 6 times more than American football. Played primarily in places such as India, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, England, and of course, the Caribbean, with India's territories alone making up a fifth of the world's population. And in these markets, there are almost 200 million viewers who watch TV per week, especially amongst our target demographic, which is youth and millennials. I just want to say there is a huge market for a show like ours. So that gradient really got us thinking, what if cricket was literally the center of the universe? And thus, Howzat was born. A high-energy, high-stakes action comedy series with a wacky fun edge targeting 7 to 12-year-olds. Think Star Wars, but on a cricket pitch. We wanted to focus on themes such as community, teamwork, and our hard work ethic can take you to places. It's directly inspired by the West Indies' rise in cricket during the 1970s. And if you don't know how important a time that was for the Caribbean diaspora, that's where several Caribbean islands got their independence. There was a mass Caribbean migration to the UK during that time. And to top it all off, the West Indies cricket team defeated England at the very first World Cup. The Rebels beat the Empire at their own game. Cricket unified the Caribbean then, and Caribbean cricket became more than a sport. It became an entire attitude. Howzat is set on a parallel world to our own, where, after the Great Collapse, the colonies of the world are held together through a love of cricket. A love so strong that it's influenced every aspect of society. On this world, cricket determines who controls the planet's resources, and the Golden Hawks dominate. A superior but corrupt powerhouse team who has proven time and time again that they will do anything to remain on top. Can the Tidal Sharks, a small team of diverse kids from a group of islands, make their way up the league and win the resources their colony so desperately needs? But more importantly, can our heroes, Luke, an easygoing but naturally gifted 12-year-old, and his headstrong ex-best friend Viv, put aside their own differences and lead their team to victory? We have a large, diverse, and mixed cast, and it's set on a parallel world to our own, primarily because we wanted to create a mixed team of both boys and girls. Because, let's be honest, women's teams tend to be better than men's teams anyway. So to a large extent, Luke's and Viv's story kind of mirror my own journey as a creator, wanting to play in the big leagues of the animation industry. And even though I'm using the analogy of sport, the underdog story is universal. We have 3 seasons planned, starting with our heroes learning to trust each other, encountering setbacks, and eventually making their way to the finals, where it becomes even more dangerous than they initially expected. Along the way, they meet other teams from around the world. Some become friends, while others just remain bitter rivals. The story is set in a sci-fi solar punk's future and has similar themes to shows such as Netflix's 3% or even The Hunger Games. And while the show mainly revolves around our main characters, Luke and Viv, everyone they meet would get to tell their own unique story, and we see how it impacts our main character's journey. Cricket is part of a worldwide culture, and in some places, it's a religion. You don't play for the crowd, you play for the country. I just want to close off by saying we recently signed a co-development deal with a UK-based animation studio called Daily Madness, and our show already has initial broadcaster interest from BBC Kids. So for Gloria and for Colony, join us in making Howzat the next big sports animated series. A very Caribbean, very immigrant rising, very David and Goliath story told through cricket. Thank you.
Excellent. Well done, Rene. What a finish. Well, for the final time in the competition, I'm going to throw this over for feedback and questions to our judges, Floyd Norman and Kimberly Wright. Floyd, would you like to start?
I think what you've done here, it's great because you've used sports as a platform for telling great stories. And a sport that could be a metaphor for life, you know, straightforward, follow the rules. And we have marvelous opportunities for personalities, conflict. This is all great. And I often forget that cricket is popular, probably so very popular around the world. So it gives you a great opportunity for storytelling. I love the fact that we've got good guys and bad guys, kind of like rebels against an evil empire. That's intriguing. So there are marvelous opportunities here for great storytelling. Great pitch. I look forward to seeing more and I look forward to seeing cricket embraced by more people around the world.
Awesome. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Floyd. Floyd, any questions or any advice on how they can get it to more people?
Yeah, would that be your plan, to try to use this series to reach more people around the world, to get more people interested in cricket?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the key things that we're kind of banking on is that, I mean, a lot of kids have been stuck indoors for at least the past 2 years. So we believe when this pandemic is over, kids want to go outside and play, and we think cricket is a great opportunity to kind of get back out and play the game.
Right. Good, good. Thank you.
Yep, that's getting more kids out playing is always a good thing. So, Kimberly, what were your impressions of How's That?
I loved it. I thought it was, they did a great job with it. In somewhat echoing Floyd, I feel like I thought I knew how popular cricket was, but when I saw the numbers and the pitch, I'm like, again, being from the States, I, even with Jamaican background, I didn't realize as much of the appeal. So that was interesting to me. I love the animation itself, the character designs, the diversity of the characters. I thought having a lot of female characters and just of all different ethnicities and backgrounds, the characters, I think that will make it even more globally appealing to everyone. And just the use of sports as well. I also think that, Luke and Viv seem like there's something about them that feels like the underdogs, and everyone wants to root for the underdogs. So I feel like you'll be rooting for them, and it almost had like a Hunger Games kind of feel for them, with them fighting, for their country. So I thought that was all great. Curious to know how you think a cricket-based animated series will, obviously it'll have global appeal because you've proven that, but what aspect of it do you think will loop in anyone that's not as familiar to the sport, or just doesn't know much about cricket? What do you think the appeal will be there?
I mean, I think there's and I thank you for the question, Kimberly. And I think you kind of answered the question yourself when you said, just even though we're using sports, it tells a universal story. It's as we said, it's Star Wars on a cricket pitch. It's the underdog, it's the rebels versus the evil umpire, and we're just using cricket as a vehicle. And who knows? I mean, with regards to the large viewership that we have for cricket right now in the world, I think it's a great opportunity to kind of give cricket a new voice in a new space that cricket has never really been created for, especially in an animated series just like this. And I think it would be a great avenue to introduce people to this amazing world and this amazing sport that is cricket.
Right, yeah, definitely. And I think it also has a great, lends itself to a gaming element as well, because I kept thinking about that throughout reading over the pitch Bible. So yeah, then I'm wondering, I'm assuming you have plans and thoughts about that as well.
I have definitely. We actually have been thinking about an idea of actually doing like actual live games. So actually creating cricket camps around Howzat and actually taking it globally.
Sounds great. Good luck with it.
Thank you.
Well, great pitch, Renee. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, those were our 5 finalists. Thank you to all our fabulous teams who, I think you'll agree, did a wonderful job of pitching to us their entertaining and inspiring animation ideas. Thank you to all the coaches who helped put this together. Also, a big thank you to our amazing judges for their extraordinary expertise and insights. Really great. Now it's my pleasure to welcome back the lovely Debbie, who can give us more information about the awards ceremony where the winners will be announced. Debbie.
Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you so much. And congratulations to all our competitors. This is going to be a hard one. I'm so happy I'm not a judge, but I think you guys will find the perfect team that will win this competition. I see why they call you the pitch doctor now, Paul. It was an absolute pleasure to host this competition with you.
Oh, it was my pleasure, Debbie. Absolutely. And weren't they great, all the teams? How impressed were you by these amazing teams?
They're absolutely impressed. As I said, I do not want to be a judge. This is the first time I'm happy with my job, where I'm just announcing everything, you know, but I can't wait to see who will walk away with that top spot when we have that awards ceremony. Thank you all. Thanks again to all our judges. And thank you again, Paul. Thanks so much for tuning in to the pitch competition, where you got to see some of our very amazing Caribbean talents. And with that, we have come to the end of day 3 of KingstOOn 2021. Join us right here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we will kickstart another set of phenomenal and incredible sessions, which I guarantee you do not want to miss this. All right, make sure that you're here. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you then.